This is cool. I used to always see these on YouTube, the chess hustlers. I'm not entirely sure how their profit mechanism works or if they're even there for profit, but they're there waiting to play chess, and maybe people can bet to play against them, but I'm not sure how the games work. They have an entire setup though here on these tables. It's pretty impressive. This is the second statue that I recognize of Garibaldi. I'm not sure what his first name was, but I think he was the leader of the Italian Risorgimento movement, and it makes sense why they have a statue of an Italian leader here in New York, since there's such a massive Italian community in this city. So some geography lessons about New York is that Henry Hudson was the person that discovered Manhattan, which was called Manhattan by the local indigenous people, and I believe that the local indigenous people were called Lempo, and of course it was not a concrete city at that time, and it's Lenape, so Lenape is the name of the indigenous people here, and it was not a concrete jungle back then, it was a real jungle. And this is the New York University campus here, and you can notice NYU, so they have a thing that was donated by one of the former graduating classes with the trees that were actually inhabiting this area before it was discovered, and those are the trees. And also Henry Hudson, that's why the Hudson River is named after him. I don't know if I said that already, but anyway. And this is funny. Museum of Ice Cream, but even funnier than that is the fact that it is a gun-free establishment. So if you look at this sign. So that's what I was trying to say. So you're not allowed to bring guns inside the Museum of Ice Cream, which is a good thing, but yeah, I don't think I'll be going to that one either. Alright, so I'm currently in an art gallery, which is interesting, and it's in the same building that Casey Neistat has his office. So Casey Neistat is a very famous vlogger that I used to watch very regularly, and this is the building that his office is in. I believe he still has an office here, and if I'm not mistaken, he also at one point was the tenant of this space where there's these tiles here when he had his own social media company, but that's no longer the case, and now it's an art gallery in the basement, and then I think his office is still upstairs. So I'm in the center of bureaucracy right now. You can see this is one courthouse, it seems. Yeah, Supreme Court and another one. So I'm wondering if this is where Donald Trump had his trial or not, I'm not sure. So there's two massive courthouses here. Furthermore, this entire big, brutal building here is for the federal government. There's another one here for the city of New York. And this one on the top of the bridge here, I think, is also for the federal government. So this is apparently called Foley Square. And there's some interesting sculpture here in the center of it. And I'm not far either from the One World Trade Center, which you can see the spire of right there, as well as the New York City Hall. So I'm gonna hope to find those soon and locate them. So here's one of the other main courthouse buildings named 500 Pearl. That's the street that's called, and it's a state court, I think. And this is apparently where Donald Trump had the court hearing or whatever. So there you go, 500 Pearl. So I took a detour. I'm actually on the Brooklyn Bridge currently, and I was intending on going all the way, but it's the former longest suspension bridge in the entire world. So I don't want to pass the entire thing. I'll do that another time. And I'm now heading back towards the city. So stay tuned. Wall Street is apparently just over there. So that's where all of the people press the buttons to buy different stuff. All right, so here we are. That I'm off the Brooklyn Bridge and in front of the City Hall of New York, which, as the panel starts here, is one of the longest serving city halls in America since 1812. So it was made from 1803 to 1812, and it's a French style of architecture since it was a French immigrant who designed it. Let me get you a better angle so you can tell by the arch windows. That's a French influence apparently, and it was majorly renovated in 2010 when it was a long time since its construction, so the renovation. And the flag of New York is also quite interesting. It's like I'm not sure if it's visible here. Let me see. It's that one, I believe. So it's like blue, white, and orange with something in the center there. Unfortunately, you can't actually go to the city hall up to the steps. But I would be interested to know how the tours work for that as well, because there's apparently a rotunda in the center, which is very beautiful. So now in the St. Paul's Chapel, which was where George Washington was following his inauguration as the first ever president of the US. So I'll talk about that a bit later, but the first thing you can see here, this is what was worn by the clergymen during the ceremonies following 9/11, and it has many different national, international badges for police services. So for example, actually, I don't know if I could point it out, but I see one for Hessen, Polizei Hessen. I think, yeah, I can't really point to it here, but Hessen is a state in Germany. Actually, that's where Frankfurt is, which is one of the cities in Germany. And it looks like there was just many of these sent from all across the world to support New York. So this is the seal of the US, and you can see there's no eagle, it's actually a turkey. And apparently at the beginning, when the eagle was not officially the national bird, Benjamin Franklin preferred turkeys, so that's what he was trying to get. It's funny, you can even see the legs of the turkey. But anyways, this is the Great Seal, and as it indicates on the sign here, the presidential pew, the original location of George Washington's presidential pew was below this painting, so right here. And that once again shows you this is where George Washington would attend the services. This building is also very beautiful from the outside, and it's not as big as the other churches that I've been to today. You can notice here, this is the front with a cross, and there's some nice chandeliers, in fact, and of course the organ is in the very back. So I'll show you from the outside as well. Alright, so here behind me you can see this is the St. Paul's Chapel, and once again, pretty solid architecture. I'm not sure in what style, because that rock that's brown is quite unique, but that's what. Alright, so I'm still on Broadway. This street is pretty long. I mean, it goes all the way through Manhattan, but you can see here right now with the intersection between Broadway and Liberty, and it's incredible how tall these buildings are when you're standing beside them. Like, you don't really notice it when you're from far away, but then when you see it from like that at the base, it's very stupefying. So yeah, now I'm here at Wall Street, which is pretty crazy. The first bank that has been spotted is a Canadian bank, TD Bank, and apparently this is the start of Wall Street. So you can literally see here on this sign, it says 1 to 21 Wall Street. So this building here, TD, it's 2 Wall Street. I have no idea which building is 1 Wall Street because this is the first one in the corner, but I'm gonna go through it. You can see already, oh, you can't see already, there's a lot of American flags, and I see the NYC sign, which is for the New York Stock Exchange. So that's where I'll be going right now, but I think there's also a church here, so if they let me inside, I'll go check it out too. So I'm in the church now. Interestingly, some of these churches all require metal detectors, like airport security, before you can get inside, which is new to me. But look at that beautiful stained glass work here in the very back. I believe also here in the middle, you have the 12 apostles, or apôtres, I'm not sure how they're called in English, but there's 6 on each side, and those were the advisors to Jesus or something. And very interestingly, this is where the organ is located, with all of the foot pedals that you can see here, and the organ itself is on either sides of the pylon. But actually I'm mistaken, there's another one here, so maybe the one that I'm beside, that plays the front organ, and then the person that's on the second floor will play that one. And once again, actually the stained glass here isn't as magnificent as the one in the front, but still decent nonetheless. And the reason why the TD Bank is at 2 Wall Street is because 1 Wall Street is this building. So this is the first building in Wall Street, and then they all go down towards the other way. So I gave you guys false information. So the Holy Trinity Church right here is not in fact 1 Wall Street. It's just a church. But this building is, so you can see 1 Wall Street right there, and it's an Art Deco building that is one of the city's landmarks, or whatever, it's in their heritage register, and it's now retail and residential, which is kind of ironic since it is the first building on Wall Street. But the second building on Wall Street is a bank, which is TD Bank. So I'm still at the 1 Wall Street, and New York used to be called New Amsterdam before, and the wall that protected New Amsterdam, which was a 5 to 6 feet tall horizontal planked fence was located here. It didn't last forever though, because now there's a big building here, but it was called New Amsterdam before being New York, so I wonder why they changed it. So here we are with the fenced off New York Stock Exchange. So you can see here, New York Stock Exchange is pretty cool. So all of the employees, they pass through some check-in there when they want to get in, since the entire road is closed off to the public. And yeah, I'm going to continue going through. There should be some more banks because I've only seen one so far. But this is where the NYC trade floor is, right here. And I think the market's closed right now, 4:30, because it's past 4:30. But apparently there's a bell when it closes, so I wonder if the bell is audible from here or not. One of the entrances now, it's funny, they have a red carpet for all of the investors that head inside. Well, heading outside now. We'll see if there's any that come outside for now. But you can see here in very large characters is New York Stock Exchange. So I'm not sure if you can actually read it from this angle, but that's what it is. There's also another important building here, it seems, which is the Federal Hall, and it has George Washington in front of it. So that's equally important. But yeah, I think everybody's attention is on this building. Pretty sure it's the biggest stock exchange in the world, so it's pretty cool to be beside. So Trump has many buildings here in New York. This is one of them, I guess. And yeah, pretty imposing to say the least. That's incredible. I didn't know there was one on Wall Street as well that had his name. But yeah, so now I'm gonna be heading back, going towards the hotel where we're doing the check-in, and then I'll have the dinner as well later tonight. So we're now in the Chinatown, and you can see here a statue of Confucius. So you can see kind of what the Chinatown looks like. A lot of stores written in Mandarin, and it's interesting that there's no tall buildings whatsoever here, so it doesn't really give the impression of New York. You can see these buildings are pretty standard in height, so that's a nice change from the skyscrapers I've been seeing today. Alright, so this is also cool. This is the first ever Tesla Cybertruck that I've seen in person. So check that out. Those are some heavy duty wheels. And look at that interior. There's nothing in there. But that's pretty cool. Like even the front too is really impressive. I heard it's cold rolled steel, so pretty stiff, rigid exterior as well, which is not good for pedestrian collisions. Okay guys, they got us a crazy hotel. So look at this building. Oh, look at this zoom. With a weird cantilever over there, it like leans over and looks amazing. So I hope I have a suite in the upper levels, but if not, I don't really care. So it's the Even Hotel, IGH Hotels. So I'm now arrived. I'm gonna go check in with the DEAD, the German Foreign Exchange Service, and meet all of the people there. So I'm not sure when the next update will be, but I'll keep you updated.